Hello, you're all very welcome here to Chadwick's Wexford Park for live coverage of the football championship draws in the adult championships for both the quarterfinals and the relegation finals. First of all, just apologies for the few minutes late. That was caused by the Featherton Glenbarntown game going to extra time. So we're all ready to go here in Chadwick's Wexford Park, and the first draw is going to be the quarterfinal draw for the Dominic Smith Senior Football Championship. And in pot 1 we have St Martin's, Starlights, Shelmaliers and Castletown. In pot 2 we have Glenbarntown, Gusseron, Halfway House Bunclody and Kylenearn. And we'll be going slowly because there are 3 teams from the one group left, which means we just have to be careful. We don't want to leave 2 teams in with the final 2 teams left in the bowl who are teams who have already played each other. So we have to avoid that, so we'll go slowly from that point of view. So for the first fixture, Michal, you can pull the first team.
Castletown.
Castletown.
Halfway House Bunclody.
And they have already played Halfway House Bunclody. So Halfway House Bunclody go into fixture number 2, and we'll ask Gavin to pull from his bowl again.
Kylenearn Ballyfat.
And Castletown have already played Kylenearn. So Kylenearn go into fixture number 3, and we'll ask Gavin to pull again from his bowl.
Gusseron.
Gusseron. So Castletown will go in with Gusseron. And I'll just pause for a second because we have a bit unusual that the 3 teams are out from the one side. We'll just make sure everything is okay before we continue. So Michal, we'll pull now to see who plays Halfway House Bunclody.
Starlights.
Starlights. So Starlights will play Halfway House Bunclody, and we'll ask Michal to pull again to see who play Kylenearn.
St Martin's.
So St Martin's will play Kylenearn. And Michal then for the final fixture.
Shelmaliers.
Shelmaliers, and we go back to Gavin then for the 4th in his bowl.
Glenbarntown.
Glenbarntown. So Shelmaliers will play Glenbarntown. So just to recap there on the 4 quarterfinals in the Dominic Smith Electrical Senior Football Championship: Castletown against Gusseron, Starlights against Halfway House Bunclody, St Martin's against Kylenearn, and the Shelmaliers against Glenbarntown. So the next draw we have then is a draw for the relegation series of the Dominic Smith Electric Senior Football Championship. There are 5 teams in this pot. There's only one pot. 5 teams are Horswood, Sarsfields, St James, St Anne's and St Hogue's Feathered. Now, the way this one works, we can have repeat pairings. Team 1 will play Team 2. The loser of that fixture will play the 3rd team out in a relegation final, and then Team 4 will play Team 5 in the other relegation final. So, Michal.
Sarsfields.
Sarsfields. So this is for a relegation semi-final. So Sarsfields are in the relegation semi-final, and they will play
St Anne's Tangan.
So the Sarsfields will play St Anne's in the relegation semi-final, and the loser of that will play the next team out.
St Hogue's Feathered.
So the loser of the Sarsfields and St Anne's will play Feathered.
Horswood.
Horswood.
St James.
Will play St James. So the story then for the relegation of the Dominic Smith Electrical Senior Football Championship: the Sarsfields will play St Anne's, the losers will play Feathered in one relegation final, and then in the other relegation final, Horswood will play St James. So now we move on to the Amber Springs and Ashdown Park Hotel Intermediate Football Championship quarter-final. And just some information on this one. We have 3 teams from 2 groups here. So just as a point of information, the Duffrey Rovers can only play St Fintan's or St Mary's Magdalen Town, and Ferns can only play Timon or Naveena. So if Ferns or the Duffrey don't come out in the first pairing, we're going to have to pause the draw just to make sure that we keep things on track and that we don't leave teams left in the pots who have already played each other. So, Michal, we go ahead for fixture number 1.
Crossabeg, Ballymurn.
Crossabeg, Ballymurn.
Timon.
So Crossabeg, Ballymurn will play Timon. So we just need to pause for a second. So Michal, fixture 2.
Rathgarrow, Cushenstown.
Rathgarrow, Cushenstown. And Gavin?
St Mary's, Magdalen Town.
So that fixture is okay as well. Rathgarrow, Cushenstown will play St Mary's, Magdalen Town. And we go back to Michal.
Fern, St Aidan's.
Fern, St Aidan's.
Fintons.
Fern, St Aidan's have already played St Fintan's. So St Fintan's go into the final fixture. And we'll ask Gavin to pull again from his bowl.
Naveena.
So Fern, St Aidan's will play Naveena. And the final team then is in Michal's bowl, and they will play St Fintan's.
Duffy Rovers.
Duffrey Rovers will play St Fintan's. So we'll just double check before moving on that those 4 fixtures are okay. So Crossabeg, Ballymurn will play Timon. Rathgarrow, Cushenstown will play St Mary's, Magdalen Town. Ferns will play Naveena. And Duffrey Rovers will play St Fintan's. So we'll move on now to the draws for the relegation finals in the Amber Springs and Ashdown Park Hotel Intermediate Football Championship. There's only one pot for this. The 4 teams in the pot are St Mary's, Rosslare, Banno, Ballymitty, Ballyhogue and Glenbarntown. And of course, just a reminder, we can have repeat pairings here. So, Michal, Team 1 will play Team 2 and Team 3 will play Team 4.
Ballyhogue.
Ballyhogue.
Glenbarntown.
So, Ballyhogue will play Glenbarntown. As I said, they've already played already, but they can play again in relegation series.
Banno, Ballymitty.
Banno, Ballymitty.
St Mary's, Rosslare.
And they will play St Mary's, Rosslare, and they've already played as well. But as I said, in the relegation series, we can have repeat pairings. So the 2 pairings there are Ballyhogue against Glenbarntown and St Mary's, Rosslare against Banno, Ballymitty. And the next thing we have then is the Joyce's Expert Intermediate A Football Championship quarter-final draw. And in pot 1, we have Clabon, Cranford, Adamstown and Clongeen. And in pot 2, we have Railtnamara, Kilmore, Geraldine O'Hanrahan's and Naveena. And again, we have 3 teams from the one group here. Clabon, Railtnamara and Kilmore are all in this draw. So we'll just take it slowly and just double check that the fixtures are okay before moving on. So first ball out then, Michael.
Clabon.
Clabon. And they will play.
Kilmore.
They won't play Kilmore. Kilmore will go into fixture number 2 because they've already played. And we'll get Gavin to pull again from his pot.
Geraldine O'Hanrahan's.
So Clabon will play Geraldine O'Hanrahan's. And we'll go back to Michael then to pull from his pot.
Cranford.
Cranford. So Cranford will play Kilmore. And we'll just pause to make sure we're on track still. So we'll go again from Michael's pot for fixture 3.
Clongeen.
Clongeen. And Gavin?
Namara.
Clongeen will play Real Namara. And Michael then for the final fixture. Adamstown. And Gavin then, the final team out in the Joyce's Expert Intermediate A Football Championship. Nevena. So Adamstown will play Nevena. So just to recap then on the 4 fixtures in the Joyce's Expert Intermediate A Football Championship. Clabon will play Geraldine O'Hanrahan's. Cranford will play Kilmore. Clongeen will play Real Namara. And Adamstown will play Nevena. We'll move on now to the relegation series of the Joyce's Expert Intermediate A Football Championship. And again, we have 4 teams in this: St Joseph's, Kylenearn, St John's Volunteers and St Patrick's. And the first team out will play the second team out, the third team out will play the fourth team out in 2 relegation finals. So, on you go, Gavin.
First team out is Kylenearn.
Kylenearn. And they will play
St Patrick's.
St Patrick's. So an all-Gorey district affair there. Kylenearn against St Patrick's.
St Joseph's.
And St Joseph's.
St John's Volunteers.
Will play the Volunteers. So an all Wexford Town affair there. So St Patrick's will play Kylenearn and St Joseph's will play the Volunteers in the 2 relegation finals of the Joyce's Expert Intermediate A Football Championship. The next draw then is the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior Football Championship quarter-finals. And again, in pot 1 we have St Martin's, Castletown, Blackwater and Aldgate. And in pot 2 we have Monageer, Boolavogue, Sarsfields, Gusseron and Kilrush. And again, we have 3 teams from the one group here. So again, we'll just have to take it slowly, double check the pairings before moving on. So, Michal, first to pull from pot 1.
St Bridget's, Blackwater.
Blackwater.
Gusseron.
Blackwater will play Gusseron.
Aldgate, Glenbrine.
Aldgate, Glenbrine. Now we just want to pause for a moment. Okay, Gavin?
Monageer.
Aldgate, Glenbrine will play Monageer, Boolavogue. Michal?
St Martin's.
St Martin's.
Sarsfields.
Have already played the Sarsfields. So the Sarsfields will go into the final fixture and we'll ask Gavin to pull again from his pot.
Kilrush.
Kilrush. So St Martin's will play Kilrush. And the final team out then from Michal's side.
Castletown.
Castletown. So that completes the 4 quarter-finals in the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior Football Championship. Blackwater will play Gusseron. Aldgate Glenbrine will play Monageer, Boolavogue. St Martin's will play Kilrush. And Castletown will play the Sarsfields. And we'll move on then to the relegation series of the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior Football Championship. There are 4 teams in this draw: Shelmaliers, Shamrocks, Starlights and Our Lady's Island. So the first team out.
Sorry, Peter. Starlights.
Starlights.
Shamrocks.
Starlights will play Shamrocks.
Shelmaliers.
Shelmaliers.
Our Lady's Island.
Shelmaliers will play Our Lady's Island. So Then a Scorty Town derby there between the Starlights and the Shamrocks. I think they played each other 2 or 3 years ago in a relegation semi-final as well, or final. So that's one fixture, and the other is the Shelmaliers and Our Lady's Island. So the next draw then is the quarter-finals for the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior A Football Championship. And in pot 1, we have Ballyhogue, Rathgrove, Cushenstown, Davidstown, Courtnacoody and St Anne's Rathangan. And in pot 2, we have Buntlody, Marshallstown, Castledockhart, Clongeen and Buffers Alley. Again, we have 3 teams here who were in the one group, Cushenstown, Marshallstown and Clongeen. So we'll just, again, take it slowly as we come to fixture 2 to make sure that we don't leave teams in the pots that can't play each other. So, Michael, you can go ahead first.
St Anne's.
St Anne's.
Buffers Alley.
St Anne's will play Buffers Alley. Michael.
Ballyhogue.
Ballyhogue.
Clongeen.
Ballyhogue will play Clongeen. And we'll go back to Michael then.
Davidstown, Courtnacoody.
Davidstown, Courtnacoody.
Halfway House, Buntlody.
Now, here we have Davidstown, Courtnacoody. Although they haven't played Halfway House, Buntlody, they can't play Halfway House, Buntlody because that would leave the only 2 teams left in the pot are Cushenstown and Marshallstown, and they've already played each other. So Buntlody have to go into the final fixture here, and we go to Meehall again to pull to see who plays Davidstown.
Marshallstown, Castledockhart.
So Davidstown will play Marshallstown. And the final team out then.
Rathgrove, Cushenstown.
Rathgrove, Cushenstown will play Halfway House, Buntlody. So the 4 quarter-finals in the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior A Football Championship. St Anne's will play Buffers Alley, Ballyhogue will play Clongeen, Davidstown will play Marshallstown, and Rathgrove, Cushenstown will play Halfway House, Buntlody. And our final draw for this evening then is the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior A Football Championship Relegation Series. And the 4 teams in this pot are Monageer, Boolavogue, Glenbarntown, Adamstown and St Martin's. And again, this is a straightforward draw. 1 plays 2 and 3 plays 4.
Monageer, Boolavogue.
Monageer, Boolavogue.
Glenbarntown.
Monageer, Boolavogue will play Glenbarntown. And in the second fixture then,
St Martin's.
St Martin's.
Adamstown.
St Martin's will play Adamstown. So the 2 relegation finals in the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior A Football Championship. Monageer, Boolavogue will play Glenbarntown and St Martin's will play Adamstown. So that completes all of the draws we have for you here this evening from Chadwick's Wexford Park. If you joined us late, we'll just go and have a bit of a recap there back to the first draw, which was the senior football quarter-finals, the Dominic Smith Electrical Championship. Castletown will play Gusheron, Starlights will play Halfway House, Buntlody, St Martin's will play Kylenearan and the Shelmaliers will play Glenbarntown. In the relegation series then, Sarsfields will play St Anne's and the losers will play Feathered, and in the other relegation final, Horswood will play St James. In the Amber Springs and Ashdown Park Intermediate Football Championship, Crossabeg Ballymurn will play Timon, Cushenstown will play St Mary's Modlintown, Ferns will play Nevena, Duffrey Rovers will play St Fintons. And in the relegation finals then, Ballyhogue will play Glenbarntown and Banno Ballymitty will play St Mary's Rosslare. In the Joyce's Expert Intermediate A Football Championship quarter-finals, Clabon will play Geraldine O'Hanrahan's, Cranford will play Kilmore, Clongeen against Ballygarrett, and Adamstown against Gorey. In the relegation series then, Kylenearan will play St Patrick's, St Joseph's will play St John's Volunteers. In the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior Football Championship, Blackwater will play Gusron, Oilgate Glenbrine will play Monageer Boulavogue, St Martin's will play Kilrush, and Castletown will play the Sarsfields. And in the relegation finals, Starlights will play Shamrocks, Shelmaliers will play Our Lady's Island. And in the Enniscorthy Farm Systems Junior A Football Championship quarter-finals, St Anne's will play Buffers Alley, Ballyhogue will play Clongeen, Davidstown Courtnacuddy will play Marshallstown Castledockrell, Rathgorough Cushenstown will play Halfway House Bunclody. And in the relegation finals, Monageer Boulavogue will play Glenbarntown, St Martin's will play Adamstown. So that completes all of our work here this evening in Chadwick's Wexford Park on this side of things. The fixtures committee will only begin their work now to try and come up with the fixtures for next weekend. Hopefully they'll be published tomorrow. Best of luck to all teams, and we'll leave it there.